Get right. As I wrote the promo for the show tonight, I thought about this. There are bad days. We know about those. They are so-so days, and they're great days for Florida sports. And we are entering into something, another phase now. It's certainly been. We've had our share of bitterness and difficulty, but think about the joy you get from watching your team win, and not without complaining. We've gone through a cycle of complaining here that's probably second to none, and we've had good reasons to because we've had some football teams that weren't very good, and we've gone through our time. Nobody has endured more than this man here and myself over the years. We've had the good days, the great days, and we had some bad days. Now we kind of got a little bit of both. Good evening to you, Franz Beard.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We're just kind of catching our breath here and saying good evening to folks. We're going to have kind of a different laid back show tonight because we got a lot to talk about. In retrospect, that might not have been a huge win last night, but it was a darn good win for the Florida team in Austin. And what a performance by the guy. And you've been telling me that Alex was coming on, that the scouts were really, that Condo was getting the attention of the scouts. He's had three really beyond good, almost tremendous games. And I love the sequence they showed last night. I wish I could put it up, but I can't. Of him being the point guard, the point center, as the guy said. Before we do that, though, Franz, let's talk about another nice little thing tonight that happened. Badly needed win by Kelly Ray Finley's team. They beat Ole Miss, ranked Ole Miss, 74-67, and now they've advanced their record another notch, and they needed that as well. Talk about that game a little bit.
Well, Florida had a 14-point lead there in the fourth quarter, and Ole Miss had a chance to get it down to 3. Blew one of the free throws that got to 4, and Florida got it back out to 7 and kept it there. Good job, Liv McGill, 28.6 rebounds.
She's a good player. She's a really good player.
She is the all-time leading scorer in a single season now for Florida.
Really?
Yeah, she is. Yes, she is. She's a tremendous player. And you got to wonder, with all the NIL money that's out there these days is going into women's sports in certain places, you got to wonder if Florida is going to have the money to keep her. Because she's going to, the WNBA doesn't pay. You can make more money in college now playing women's basketball, believe it or not, than you can in the WNBA for the most part. Not everybody's a Caitlin Clark that's going to make $1 million. Most of these women who play in the WNBA make about $50,000. Which
did we get a false read from Caitlin Carter? Because that was amazing. I heard what she did at Iowa State, in Iowa, and coming through, and the ruckus that happened with her in the WNBA, and people thought, well, this women's basketball is going to take off. I understand ESPN's moving some stuff around to have they've eliminated Sunday night baseball. They're going to have women's sports. All hail to women's sports. I've been a backer of them since I started in this game. I've been a backer of women getting opportunities in our business, as you know, all these years. And I'm loving it as a father of 2 daughters. But let's be honest, as spectator sports, I think there's some schools where women's basketball, like Tennessee, did in fact carry the weight. But it's not going to go anywhere near the numbers that men's college basketball is now. But the numbers have been getting bigger and bigger. And we saw a tremendous surge last weekend on that old game day. And now we got game day coming this week to Gainesville.
Mm-hmm.
And what a tremendous recruiting opportunity for Todd. And I know he's got a top-notch player coming in. To bring him into the old dome on game day, what is it, 6 or 7 or 8 they've had there? It's a feast, man. It really is.
Well, Florida is the hot team in the country right now. You can talk all you want to about Duke, everything like that, but Florida is the hot team in the country. They won the national championship last year. They're rolling right now. Everybody's looking back to that Duke game back in December, and they're saying, put that game on a neutral court, play it today. And Florida's a lot better basketball team now than they were then. In fact, most people are saying, let Florida play Arizona again. Let Florida play Duke again. Let Florida play UConn again. And you're looking at probably most likely different results, particularly if it's on a neutral court. And of course, if you play Duke, if Roger Ayers is not on the whistle.
Yeah. But and I know you like to beat on him and justifiably saw it. I wanted to say it was somehow we ended up watching part of the Big East program. I'm flipping around and I caught it, and they were talking about Florida basketball.
Yeah.
There was one guy there who knew what was going on, and the other two guys who were supposed to know what's going on. But if you're a half a step behind, you don't get just what you said, because the other two guys said, well, wait a minute. They got beat by UConn. They got beat by Arizona. They got beat by Duke. And the other guy said, yeah, but they got beat by a last minute bucket. They only lost those games by a margin of 60 to 70 points. It's a different sort of team. They're playing a lot different style right now. They're like, huh? If you miss that, if you miss the transition of the team, and you know this better than anybody because you follow them, then you missed what has happened to the guard play, number one. Kondo is just having a phenomenal run of 3 straight games. And of course, Thomas Hoff is my favorite. And then going on, Glevchuk and Kevzar, of course, the way he shoots the threes. And now Brown, boy, he really got up on that last jam he had, that last one last night. So this is a better team, Franz, as you've been pointing out. And they've started at the bottom, and they've worked their way up. They've knocked them off. What is that? 7 straight
road wins.
And now so they won. What have they won?
Eight straight games, 7 straight road
and
wins.
11 out of 12, whatever. I don't even know the numbers.
And here's the thing: is if they beat Arkansas, Saturday night, they've won the SEC.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that will be Arkansas's 5th loss. And it doesn't matter what Alabama does, because Alabama lost head-to-head to Florida. Even if Florida were to lose the last 2 games, which they're not going to do, they're not going to lose to Mississippi State at home. But
they might lose at Kentucky. They might, but Kentucky's not playing that good.
Senior day at Rupp has this habit of getting what they call chef de la Rupp. In other words, some serious home cooking,
Oh yeah.
And we've seen it over the years. I mean, of course they say, the Kentucky people, they say that it's home cooking every time they play someplace other than Rupp. But we've been around long enough to know that when teams go to Rupp, it's a whole different environment. It really is.
Sure it is. It really
is. And it's been that way. They've earned that tremendous home court advantage, because for years they were basketball in the SEC. Florida, Tennessee, I give credit for Tennessee really with Ray Mears becoming like the second really good team. If Norm had stayed here, Florida could have been. Norm left here and left the tallest team in the country, and a team that, quite frankly, should have won the SEC that year. Should have won the SEC and gone to the NCAA. And with the people that would have been coming back, like Neil Walk, et cetera, like that, they would have been good. They should have been good for years to come, because Norm was, as you know, for all his flaws, Norm Sloan could recruit. Was a really, really fine recruiter, particularly back in those days. So, but Ray Mears took Tennessee there. Then C.M. Newton came and took Alabama there. Georgia got to a Final Four, I think, when was it, 83? And I think that was the only, Arkansas got to a Final Four, but they were in the Southwest Conference. Arkansas comes along then. And Florida had Lon Kruger. Then comes Billy Donovan. And all of a sudden now, with Billy Donovan there. You got Nolan Richardson at Arkansas. Tennessee's been good all along, and Kentucky. Then the league started catching on. And now, top to bottom, buddy, it's the best league in the country. What we don't have is those 3 or 4 teams up at the top.
Right.
We've got one.
Right.
We have one outstanding team,
yeah,
and about 3 or 4 really good ones.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
down at the bottom, I would put our guys down at the bottom against the guys down at the bottom of any league in the country.
Yeah, good point. Let me just get this in real fast. I want to start doing a better job. I'm being told by Freddie I'm doing a lousy job of telling people how to advertise, and I probably am. But I want to just say, Florida's last 5 SEC road games, by the way, get this. This hits you when you hear it. Won by 47 at South Carolina. Last 5 road games, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say won by 19 at A&M. Won by 20 at Georgia. Won by 19 at Ole Miss and by 13 at Texas. My goodness, they are the best team by far in the league. And we'll talk more about that. And I'm going to get your take on 2 things when we come back. I know we tend to bleed orange and blue around here, but Player of the Year, Tommy Hoff, and Defensive Player of the Year nationally, Ruben Chingulu. That's what they're talking about now in other places besides here. Let me first tell you about, take a time out to thank our advertisers on Buddy Martin Show. I'm sorry I haven't done this more often. I promise to do it every night. I want to thank Meldon Law, they won't back down, and Titan MRI and Imaging, serving North Central Florida for 7 years. We appreciate the fine local businesses giving us a chance to represent them for a very long time and letting Gator Nation know what's up. You can be like them. You can join this team of advertisers of the Buddy Martin Show. Call Freddie Weeby. Write this number down, 352-284-3733. He does a terrific job at making it happen. He'll find a spot for you at the right price. So call him today and tell him, I want to go on the Buddy Martin Show. You can be an advertiser. He'll give you a rate because you want to reach his many followers out there. We have a lot because we've been doing it a long time the right way, Franz Beard. So thank you to our advertisers. We'll come back to Melda Law in a minute. But let's get back to the issue of Defensive Player of the Year and Ruben Chimula, who did not have his best game. We know about that. But made big plays when he had to, as he usually does. And I watched him last night. I watched the replay today. He runs backwards a lot for a big guy. He goes up, goes back, up and back. I mean, no wonder he used to get fatigued. First, Ruben Chinglu, then we'll talk about Tommy Hoff, my favorite Gator player in a long time. Ruben Chinglu.
Ruben should be the Defensive Player of the Year. Should be. Tommy Hawk should be the SEC Player of the Year. Should be. Sixth Man of the Year should be Urban Klavjar. Again, should be. Coach of the Year should be Todd Golden. How many of those do you think, if you had to take a guess, what I would think?
I know what you think. I know what you don't think any of them will get it. They don't get what they're just due.
I go back to, I know it's a football analogy, but I go back to Jake Slaughter. The SEC coaches did not vote Jake Slaughter first, second, or third team all SEC.
Right.
And he was the consensus All-American.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great
Walter
point.
Clayton Jr., the player of the most outstanding player at the SEC tournament, the most outstanding player at the regional, the most outstanding player at the Final Four, the best player in the SEC, did not get unanimous first team all SEC. At least 2 coaches didn't vote for him. Now, how's that happen? I mean, people can say that, oh, this is your Gator homerism coming out. I've been around a long time. I've seen, what was it, Danny Werfel, and I believe it was 95, makes the Heisman podium, and they made Peyton Manning the all-SEC first-team quarterback. The coaches did. You remember that?
I remember it very well.
Danny won the Heisman the next year, and they more or less had to make him the first team All SEC. But in 95, he actually had a statistically better year than he had in 96. And guess what? The SEC coaches voted Peyton Manning the All SEC first team quarterback. So is there a Florida bias out
Yeah,
there?
is there one? I'm going to ask you straight up. And this be, you look, you're a homer, I'm a homer, but we do have our objectivity and we try to say it like it is. If it's when they're bad, we say they're bad. They don't deserve it. When they're good, we say they're good. And if they deserve it, we say so. So you just told me there's 5 different things that Florida can be recognized for in basketball. They're going to get none of them, which is not a pretty thing. The one that upsets me the most is if Tommy Hoff doesn't get the Player of the Year in the SEC. I think he might be, and I'm doing a column on this for the weekend. One of my top 5 basketball players. I've been seeing him since John Mayer was the coach. By the way, Meyer's record was broken the other day by Todd Golden, or tied, or whatever it was. Same number of wins, whatever it was, 98 or something. But I mean, I've been around a while. I've seen things, and this guy is special in so many ways. Not the least of which is his character. That he grew up with Gator logos around him and wanted to be a Gator and loved. Was it Danny Werfel? He was.
He was a Tebow.
Tim Tebow guy, and he's a top quality character guy. He plays with such great effort. I love players, and he's got skill sets. And no wonder other coaches say, "I love to watch him play." I love to watch Tommy Hoff play basketball. And I'm going to be very sad when he graduates. So let's get him another ring.
Yeah. Well, my guess is this. My guess is that the SEC coaches will name Darius Acuff Jr. at Arkansas the Player of the Year. He's made the freshman.
Let's see what he does on Saturday.
Yeah, let's see what he does on Saturday. But I mean, he's a tremendous scorer. He's leading the league in scoring and in assists. Rarely turns it over. He's a great player, no question about it. But I think that
Go ahead.
What's that old saying that we grew up with? To the victor goes the spoils.
Well, yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily the spoils. I think what Tommy has done has helped elevate Florida to a potential national champion. Arkansas, I think, could make it to the Elite 8. I think they could. I don't think they could make it any farther than that.
I'm not a big Arkansas fan. Everybody's all upset, but telling us how great they. We'll see. Calipari, I have a lot of respect for. Their team obviously is special, but they're not that special.
He's only got 7 players because of injuries. He's really only got 7 players. And to do what he's done with 7 players, I mean, that's pretty darn good.
Okay. I mean,
but here's my point. I don't think they can go. I think they have enough quality that they could get. They win the first 2 ball games. They could probably win the 3rd one even, and get to the Elite 8. But they don't have the depth. You know, it gets different when you get into the NCAA tournament, just like it is at the SEC. The SEC, if you don't make the top 4 teams, you're going to have to play to win it. You're going to have to play at least 4 consecutive nights.
Yeah.
Then 3 nights later, maybe 4 nights later, you're going to have to win. You're going to have to win 1 day off, win again, boom, and repeat it the next week. If you don't have a good 8-man rotation, of which your 8 guys, your 3 guys off the bench, get quality minutes, you're in trouble. And it's kind of like last night. Micah Hanlogton didn't score a point, only got 2 rebounds. Micah Hanlogton had a tremendous ball game. If you look at the stats, you say, no, he didn't. Did you watch Vokatitis, their 7'1" guy in the first half?
Yeah, he played great first half.
Did you see what what Michael
I didn't
did.
notice as close as you did because you're a better student of the game, but I know he played better. I saw a couple of blocks.
Yeah.
I saw, and that's the thing. He's such a force when he. And again, this is what this team can do: is that when one guy's off, and last night Chinyalu and Hoff didn't have their best games, so they got help other places last night, and certainly the fact that you get consistency out of your big guys like we saw. Let me just say real quick, this is why you have to kind of know the nuances of things. We had a note here from our friend in Dallas who said Tebow didn't get a unanimous first team 1 year. That was actually a preseason, and it was his last year. And the guy who didn't vote for him technically was Steve Spurrier. Remember that?
Yeah.
And in fact, well, let me finish because he didn't even know who he voted for because he gave it to Jamie to vote for him in South Carolina. And Jamie thought he was helping his team by not voting for him. And so that was a big stink at spring at SEC meetings. I remember that. So,
well, anyway. And here's the thing. One of the reasons that you see some of the discrepancies when they have the voting for all conferences and stuff like that is a lot of times the coaches don't have a clue. They just sell.
They don't. They used to read the Street and Smith and vote.
They let the SID or do it or somebody like that.
Or an assistant or whatever.
Remember that show in the 70s, Carter Country Mayor Teddy Burnside's famous line, handle it. And that's kind of what SEC coaches do, particularly in football, is they tell somebody else you take care of this. I don't have time or the inclination. Basketball is a different story because you're only voting for 5 guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Good so,
well, let me get to your book. Let me get to your book real fast up here before we're going to get benched. Excuse me if I'm interrupting you, France. But up here in the right-hand corner, you see the QR code. That is the book, The Golden Season, which I haven't talked about enough, and I plan to do a lot more because I really think if you're a serious basketball fan, you need to put this in your library. You need to get this book by hook or crook and put it. I like that. Get this book by hook or crook. We'll use that and read it because it is thoroughly the most definitive piece that was and will ever be written on Florida's national championship. I know what I know because I read it beforehand and wrote a small part of it from Franz's book, along with my buddy Carlton. And it's a really good book. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, if you like, you'll not want to forget, by the way, about last year's team. What a wonderful story they were. Although I see how boring the Grizzlies' uniform has been benched. He had a bad weekend and they benched him. So we'll talk about that later. Anyway, main thing is check out the book, will you? And I want to tell you also about our friends at Meldon Law. If you don't know by now, they do some tremendous things. We had Jeffrey on Tuesday night and talked about some of the things he's been experiencing as a close friend of many people. You'll see Jeffrey. I didn't see him at the game tonight. I think he's in Atlanta on a trip. But you'll see Jeffrey around a lot of important people. He does some wonderful things for these programs. He also has a pretty good law firm. We don't talk about it a lot. He and his son, Kerry now is kind of taking over most of the duties. And Jeffrey's having the time of his life. And he's entertaining and he's having the players over. And Patricia's feeding the women's basketball team and the men's basketball team. And you'll see everybody, including Todd Golden, over there at Jeffrey's and Patricia's houses, having a good time. So they're good people. They have a terrific law firm. If you need a lawyer, I recommend you call them. Meldon Law, they want back down. France.
Yes.
DJ Lagway has come out and started talking a little bit about Florida. You hear about this?
No, I haven't. I try to avoid.
Well, you knew it was going to happen. It's not anything terrible, but he opened up somewhat to a Texas reporter. And I know we want to probably talk about it a little bit because it was such a big story and suddenly he's gone. And nobody wishes that on DJ, and there's some discrepancies about what really happened to him with John Summerall. We don't know 100%. I kind of believe what I was told and what Summerall said, But here's the story. It said, Muddle is coming out of Texas. I got to try to get the name of the group out of Texas. I'm sorry, don't have it. Muddled by injury-riddled first true all-season with the Gators. DJ Lagway's sophomore campaign in Gainesville would end disastrously with almost as many interceptions as touchdowns thrown and a 4-8 record leading to almost complete staff reset with the program. And this is where Derek Lagway spoke, his father. As a parent, I could change. If I could change something, I would have told him to redshirt, he said. He told this guy Craven, whatever his first name is, I can't remember, sorry. That was a lot of pressure on a 19-year-old kid. I think he did decent with it. He didn't have the year we expected or he expected, but it was good to go through what he went through because it will make him stronger. And it says, despite such regrets, Lagway still seemed open to returning this offseason, announcing he was a Gator, quote unquote, before the season and even doubling down on his promise of winning at the university. However, after meeting with new Gators coach John Summerall, it became clear that the fit was not just right. Quote, when I met with DJ, I just said, hey, look, man, this culture is going to be difficult. It's built on toughness and love of football. If you fit that, great, said Summerall. If you don't, that's not going to be good. And I said, let's talk through this and what it's going to look like moving forward. Would love to have you stay here if you're comfortable with some ground rules that are laid out. Summerall said on meetings, it was his decision to leave. He was not forced out of here by any stretch of imagination. I'm for him being successful wherever he goes unless we play against him. Okay, you heard this story, and I think we got Ben popping up. Maybe he heard it. So that's the deal. We're closing the door on DJ. All the best to him and Lagway and Mr. Lagway and his family out in Baylor. They did do a lot of good things for this program and for their coach. And it didn't turn out the way they wanted. So, Franz, your thoughts?
Well, anytime there's a coaching change, there's attrition. And, you know, I don't know everything that happened there. And it may have come down to John Summerall saying, fine, you can stay here, but we're not going to pay $2 million like you paid you last year. You know, based on the year you had, based on the fact I got to bring in enough players around you, you're going to have to take a pay cut. That could be the case. I don't know that for sure. There's a lot of things that factor into something like that.
Which one of those birds is making fun of you?
They're telling me it's bedtime. So if you'll
give me, it's been troop time.
If you'll give me a minute, I'll be right back.
You go ahead and I'll get you. But don't leave us. Come back. Better finish. Good evening to Ben Troop, my man. What's up, Ben?
How you doing, sir? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I don't know if you probably didn't hear the story I was reading, which was about obviously about DJ Lagway. He finally talked out in Texas. Not a whole lot of news in it, just saying apparently he didn't feel like he was that they overwhelmed him with an offer. That's what I'm just saying. I don't know what you know about that, but what do you did you hear it?
Well, you saying Texas overwhelmed him with an offer?
Said they did not. Florida did not try to overwhelm him with an offer to stay. He felt like they didn't really. I'm interpreting now. It's not what he said. I'm interpreting that he obviously didn't think that it was for him. And I don't know. I can't say I blame him. That's fine. I mean, you get a better deal. And today, like Franz says, economics play a part in it now. So let's get your take on anything there. I'll be glad to read it back to you if you wanted. But the essence of it is he didn't feel it was right for him at this time.
I mean, I can respect that, but it's not. I think I came in on the tail end with you talking, with you making a statement to Franz. But for a guy like DJ Lagway, it was unfortunate how everything ended up, but at least he got a chance to plead his case. I mean, as you mentioned, when a new coach comes in, the new coach knows what he's inheriting. Everybody saw 2025, right, wrong, indifferent. Everybody saw it. A new coach comes in and he's saying, look, just from a outside onlooker, it didn't look good, DJ. It didn't look good. I'm not blaming you for everything that happened, but you had a big part in everything that happened, especially on offense. So when you are the Gatorade National Player of the Year coming out of high school, you have the true freshman year that he had, winning every game that he started, going 8-5 in the hardest schedule in the country, having that big first quarter that he had against Georgia. Everybody was waiting on 2025 to be that year, right? You bring in Dallas Wilson, you're talking about VB3, you're talking about Jaden Ball, you're talking about Jake Slaughter. And he was supposed to be the one that brought it all together. He even said that he was going to help recruit. But remember, he was saying, I'm going to help recruit some of these guys to get them up in here. And everything was setting up for 2025 to be the year. And for some odd reason, it just never turned over. So for a guy like DJ Lagway, look, when you are the former starting quarterback at Florida, people gonna listen to you. People gonna give you a chance to plead your case. But for a lot of players in his position, sometimes they don't even let you talk to the new head coach. New head coach is like, look, man, we want you back, but we ain't. Let's face it, we thought that DJ Lagway was gonna have the impact that Jaden Ball did. You thought that he was gonna have that type of impact, and it just didn't happen. And he still landed in a nice spot over there at Baylor. I mean, he was great as a teammate, great for the Gainesville community. The type of things he did in the community was great. But friends, buddy, all that stuff only matters if you play well. You can be the best young man in the world, but you have Florida to play football. And if it doesn't go well, which it didn't, look, he's not the first. He ain't the first or the last player for it to not happen the way we thought it did. It's just sometimes the hype is serious. And nothing against that school over there on the Panhandle, that school down south, Florida. You can't be subpar when you got that much fanfare. And it's not just DJ Lagway. Anybody that's starting at Florida gonna feel that level of scrutiny. So I wished it turned out different. I thought that DJ Lagway was gonna be a program shifter.
I did
from everything that was, and sometimes the head coach of Florida and the starting quarterback Florida show you just how hard it is. Those two people, like Billy Napier, showed you just how hard it is. But so did Dan Mullen, and so did Jim McElwain, right? And so did Will Muschamp, and so did Ron Zook. Now we've had Urban Meyer and Coach Spurrier, but it's hard. It's hard to do. For DJ Lagway, Gatorade National Player of the Year, you're sponsored by Gatorade, you're sponsored by Hey Dude, you're sponsored by, Chipotle. I mean, anybody that wanted to sponsor this young man was sponsoring him. And after that freshman year, I thought, oh my God, he's about to do it. And it never happened. Now, in his defense, it didn't happen for a lot of players because 2025 was supposed to be about coupling, how do you say his name up there with Clemson, Nussmeier. You talk about Arch Manning, nobody really shined. But when you started quarterback at Florida, you the hot spot. You the most famous quarterback in the state of Florida. That's taking nothing away from Baker Mayfield. That's taking nothing away from Tua. That's taking nothing away from Trevor Lawrence. And it just didn't happen. And I can respect I respect Coach Summerall for even letting him plead his case because he don't got to do that, but he did. And he was like, "Well, I've won everywhere I've been, DJ, and I would love to have you back, but I'm not giving you the type of money you thinking. You don't have the same leverage. I'm not going to
guarantee you're going to start either." So
wow, exactly. So it happens, and like I say, Coach Summerall, the biggest thing he's done thus far, one, show a lot of love to the media, and buddy, I'm looking forward to seeing when you have your sit down with him. And he got Jaden Ball back. I mean, look, we wanted DJ Lagway back, but we could get over it. If Jaden Ball left,
yeah,
it would have been, as my grandma would say, it would have been smoke in the city.
No
I'm just telling you, and it wasn't.
Smoke on the water. And Franz, you covered him. You covered him every week, and you saw him, and you talked to him, and I know you like the young man, and it's unfortunate. Oh. What's your take on it? And do you feel a little bit a pinch of, I don't want to say guilt, but sorrow for the guy because he didn't get the right deal?
Well, we got somebody right here, Bill Feinberg, saying Bad Shoulder begged him to redshirt. The kid should have redshirted last year. And I don't know whether that was him and his dad saying, we'll play through it. I don't know if it was Billy Napier saying, if you don't play, we got no chance. In one respect, I'll put this on Billy Napier, because Billy Napier knew he had the bad shoulder after the bowl game, and he didn't go out there and bring in somebody from the portal capable of playing in the event that his guy couldn't play.
Also our colleagues reported that he was going to have surgery. And we looked into that, and that they made the decision not to have it now. So they didn't bring that up. That probably was what they needed to do. But I don't think he felt like he could survive, another bad year. He was trying to hold it together with baling wire. But nonetheless, yeah, it happens. And I wish that now let's talk about the current quarterbacks. I've talked to a bunch of people, including Shane and I had a discussion at length, talking about the kid from Georgia Tech. I forgot his name right now.
Aaron Philo.
Yeah, Philo. How could I forget Philo? And of course, Tremel Jones. And I've asked this of a number of people if they thought it was truly an open book. If it was an open competition. Man, if you got to go, I'll let you go.
No, I'm there. Go ahead.
And I think truly, knowing what I know now about Summerall, which by the way is more than I ever knew about Billy.
Yep.
I can tell you, I can feel it in my bones. He's a straight shooter. Okay, if you're a better quarterback, and his offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner, the top assistant coach in the country last year, according to all the polls. They will give him a good look. I feel that way. Am I wrong, Franz?
Oh, I think they're good. I think they have no choice but to give everybody a good look. I mean, the guy they brought in is the guy that I think they expect to win the job. But again, I can tell you this. There are people who are raving about the freshman from Tampa. They say, oh my gosh. Now, quite frankly, he's a freshman, and not too many kids come in there in the Southeastern Conference as a true freshman and figure it out instantly. But they love this kid too. I'm happy that they're doing it this way. You got to give Tremel Jones his opportunity. He's been here. He decided to stay here. He could have gone someplace else. He decided to stay here. And you owe that to him, and you owe that to his teammates who were there and went through all the drills with him and everything like that. He early enrolled. He came to school here, busted his butt, and looked good when he did play. So you got to at least give him a fair shot at doing it. And by doing that, you're going to earn the respect of everybody on your ball club. And right now, and I think Ben could agree with this, probably the biggest thing that John Summerall is going to do this spring is earn the respect of however many, I guess it's 102 guys now that they've got on scholarship. That's his big job, because if the head coach doesn't have 100% of the people that he's got behind him and respecting him, he's got issues from day one.
All right. Now, I'll throw it back to you, Ben, and we'll just wrap up the conversation on the quarterbacks. I have a feeling they're going to get a decent quarterback out of this. Good enough to win. I don't know how many games, but he's going to win. And I think they've got, and if they don't get him, if they can keep them both there, they got a heck of a good backup. So that's the two quarterback system is great as long as your second one doesn't leave. I think they're going to get him a good quarterback. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I think they will. I knew that one of the quarterbacks was going to come with Coach Faulkner. You knew he was going to get one.
Mm-hmm.
Getting Aaron Philo to come down to Tremel Jones. I agree with everything you said, Franz. And that's the greatest thing about the spring is this. It's supposed to be a clean slate. Now, if it's clear cut, I get it. But it's supposed to be a clean slate. That's what's going to make the competition even better, because there is no clear-cut starter right now. And I think the thing that I don't know if he said it. I don't know if Coach Summerall said it, but this 4 wide, 5 wide stuff. I mean, I want to see it. I mean, if they gonna do it, I want to see. He said, "Look, we got 7 receivers. We'll go 5 wides. We got 4 tight ends. We'll go trade personnel." But it's something you said too, Franz. Tramel Jones, you want to honor, because here's the new thing about the quarterbacks that ain't nobody saying. I'm not going to schools no more if they only gonna get grad transfers or transfer quarterbacks. Like, it's like, okay, what are you recruiting me for if you're gonna get the guy from the other school? And a lot of teams are doing that, aka Miami. So I'm just saying, if you're not gonna let the guys that you recruited play at the quarterback position, now you got to bring in a quarterback that understands what Coach Faulkner wants to get done. Sometimes, hey man, you got to show him how I want this thing to look. Don't mean you're gonna be the starter, but Coach Faulkner, he wants it to look a certain way.
Well, he knows Philo. He knows Philo.
Exactly. Philo knows it's no different than, look, it's no different than, what's the freaking guard that came over from Louisiana with Osiris Torrance. You bring guys that know what you're trying to play.
Ooh. Ben's breaking up there. Sorry. Yeah, I hear what he's saying. He's having the internet problems. Yeah, so I think that's true. Let's get. Meanwhile, things seem to be going well for them. They're picking up guys very quietly. There's another one today. News they got another one of the guys they're recruiting. They got picked up, and they're signing a lot of tight ends. So I don't think there's any time we're going to see any 4 wides on the field anytime soon. It's a tight end. It's a 12 personnel offense for the most part. Although he's shown he's not afraid to go outside that if that's what it requires. On Tuesday, he got the first offensive commit of the 2027 class with Centerburg, Ohio. All right. I don't know where it is either, friends. Tight end, 3-star Jackson Ballinger, pledging to the program. So that I don't know how many tight ends they have. About 8.
I think they got 6. But you got to remember something that's different now. You got 105 scholarships. You used to have only 85. So you have 105, and there's, because of the portal, there's going to be attrition, etc., like that. So you've got to, in some respect, I'd say over recruit. I think they got 20 offensive linemen. You almost have to over recruit because of attrition in the portal these days and times. So, but again, the offenses that Georgia Tech ran, they ran a lot of 2 tight end jobs. One of the guys was typically a move guy, who's in motion a lot, and he helps in the running game. He helps in the short passing game, etc., like that. So, and then you get a guy who's a good receiver who can go down the seam and challenge the safety. So, I think we're at a point in time where we're going to start seeing a lot more of the 2 and sometimes even 3 tight ends, 2 guys down there with a hand in the dirt, and one guy.
And might see 4 extra offensive line. You never know.
Nobody uses a fullback anymore, so your de facto fullback in most cases is a tight end who goes in motion a lot.
Yeah. Speaking of Gators and quarterbacks, did you hear about Anthony Richardson?
Yeah.
He's requested a trade.
Yeah.
He's lucky they didn't run him out of town, in my opinion. I liked Anthony, and he was a good player, but Shane Matthews had him nailed perfectly when he said he gets hurt all the time. He said that he coached him against him in high school. And I was in love with his skill set and his arm. That was really to throw the long ball or whatever. And he's just been a bomb out there in Baltimore. So he's asking out. I guess he is. I mean, the way he's played, like I said, he's lucky they don't buy him a ticket and say go. That's one piece of news. The other is a little bit disturbing. It's apparently the Grizzlies benched Walter Clayton Jr. last weekend. I don't know why and what happened. Just suddenly, boom, he was on the bench. and they played last night against Golden State, and
Yeah.
Will Richard, his former teammate, had a big night. Did you hear about
25
this?
points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals.
Right. And so anyway, so we're watching the former players and the great things they've done there too as well. All right, so friends, I want to get to the book for a second. We're working toward trying to get out there and let people know that we're making special pricing. And we've talked to folks in other towns. We're going to try to spread it out a little bit. And you announced, I think already, or somebody did, you were going to be there at the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
And you and Carlton Reese and Chris Spears and my goodness, the whole team of players going to be there. I'll be here.
I think Rob is there.
Rob is there, going to be there. Rob Brown is a member of the obviously SEC sidelines. So they had a nice week playing there. So we're trying to line up opportunities for Gator clubs to hear you and to get a chance to buy the book. You get the book, by the way, if you want to buy it, you can go to spurriers.com/shop and you'll get a signed copy of the book sent to you, emailed or overnight, whatever they do. You'll get it mailed to you. You'll have it and now that can't be reduced. That price is pretty firm. I think it's about $30 or $39. But if you are able to go to a book signing, and here's why it's important, folks, you should know, you can get that down quite a bit, and maybe almost half. And we've offered opportunities for other Gator clubs. I talked to one today up in Savannah. Guess where she's from? Ocala. Linda Clarkson, and I knew the name, and her late husband was a friend of mine, but she's in Savannah, and they're not going to probably be able to get us up there in time to make it work.
Well,
I talked to her.
Yeah, I talked to Frank Katz up there today myself, and
okay.
And Frank's going to get us up there. Don't know what he'd like to do. He would like to do is get us up there during the playoffs. Once we get past the SEC tournament. For example, if the Gators were to get sent to Greenville, South Carolina, Savannah.
Yeah. Well, that's a different deal. You can be coming back through, but whatever. That's great if we can. We want to do that. So, and I guess the West way is to call or come online or DM us and let us know. We're doing our best. Well, there's a score from California. The softball team is out there playing in that tournament. It's 5-0 University of Florida.
6-0 now.
Okay, you got a more updated version than I do. So anyway, all right. Now you have a question here that David from David Baldwin, for a long time member here and Gator Bait and back in the day from day one, wants to know who was the official in the game last night. Go ahead.
We had Courtney Green was one of them, KB Burnett was the other one, and Brian Dorsey was the other one. A lot of people don't like Courtney. I like Courtney myself. I don't like KB Burnett, never have. Brian Dorsey's sell-by date expired probably about 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. The first half of that game was officiated. You may have to go to a sumo event to see less contact. And what bothered me was they're letting hard contact go and calling the ticky-tacky things. 9 fouls for the night between Ruben and Tommy Hawk had 5. I think there were 6 ticky-tacky fouls. I think there were 3 legitimate fouls between them. And that's not to say that the officials were necessarily biased, but officials come into games, I think, with an agenda, okay, and they get together and they say, we're going to let this is going to be a physical game, so we're going to let a lot of contact go. And I think they do that.
My friend Don Rutledge denies it, and you know him well. I know him really well, and you know him a little bit, and he denies that he ever said that, and he calls 6 Final Fours. But I guess it depends on a group of officials There was no better official than Don Rutledge. You know that.
Oh, Don was terrific. Hank Nichols, another one, was one of the great officials. And when you got Hank Nichols, you knew it was going to be a fair and square game. Mm-hmm. But the point being is that why is it that one group of officials or one official or whatever, one day they'll let sumo, like I said, it's almost sumo wrestling get by. And the next game, you end up with each team shooting 40 free throws because you breathe heavily and you get called. Whether that's a conscious decision ahead of time or not, I don't know. But here's what I do know. I think the officiating across all sports, whether it's college or pros, is under, I don't see that it's getting great. I think it's taken steps back. And I think part of the reason is a lot of guys don't want to do it anymore because they get so heavily scrutinized by instant replays. Everything's replayed. Everybody knows if you made a mistake nowadays. And that's the thing with the challenge system, with instant replays, all this other stuff like that. And I think it's making it harder for these guys to officiate because I think they make calls sometimes, and they always have, that they're anticipating something.
Mm-hmm. Well, it probably comes to that. By the way, I was hoping tonight, and we didn't work it out because he had to go his son at the ball game, for you to get introduced to the guy you're going to be on with tomorrow, Paul Wilson from ESPN Northwest Florida, the Sportsbook show in the afternoon here, my new favorite show, 104.3, was going to take his son to practice and try to get back in time to click in and give us his thoughts because he had quite an experience last week. He's the white hat, speaking of officials, for all of the 7-on-7 camps. There's a huge one here, as you know, out of Publix Park, and they have teams from Alabama, Georgia, Florida, all out there, and they are very strict on what they do, how they cut the parents have to be told, you say a word and we're going to toss you out and you'll be gone the whole season. But anyway, Paul didn't make it back in time. I'm sorry, because I think you and he will have some interesting conversations about this. And I want to ask him when I'm going to be on his show. And tomorrow I've got Urban Meyer on, by the way, in the morning, and I'm going to tape it for tomorrow night or sometime the weekend. And I think we'll have a chance to get Urban's take on some of this stuff. But he's a big Urban Meyer is. And so Paul is an Alabama fan who lives in the area where he works for a station and carries the Auburn games and carries the Florida games, etc. So sorry Paul couldn't make it tonight, and I'm sure he has some thoughts on the officiating maybe next time soon. We'll do final couple of minutes, actually final minute, friends. A wrap and a final thoughts we tell you about our friends at Titan MRI Imaging and the great book that Franz wrote. Franz, go.
Well, Florida can essentially win the SEC Saturday night if they beat Arkansas, because that will give them 14 wins. They'll have the head-to-head. Well, they will win it if they beat Arkansas because they'll have 14 wins. They can lose the last two. The best Alabama can do is 14 wins. It would be the fifth loss for Arkansas, so they'd be out. And we already have the head-to-head with Alabama. So basically, Florida is one win away from clinching the SEC. Yeah, which just goes to show you what a good coaching job Todd Golden's done.
Wow, he's done amazing. He really has.
He is as good, if not better, than any coach in the country. He reminds me, I was around in North Carolina when this 40-year-old guy named Dean Smith was.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He'd already had some success, but he hadn't won a national championship yet. But I started covering Carolina basketball and getting to know him. This guy's the closest thing I've seen to Dean. He really is.
Well, it's a little early for that but he is an awful good coach. And hey, if he gets his second straight national championship, I just want you to take 30 seconds. That's all the time we got to compare the Billy Donovan era and now. You covered them both. What's the similarities, real quick, and which was better, or was there a better?
I can't say that it's better because this is year four, and in year three, Todd won a national championship. Billy been here, I think it was his 10th year before he got his national championship. Although in his fourth year, I think it was, he made the national championship game. A lot of similarities in that. And the big thing is they both know how to construct the roster the right way.
All right, Franz Beard, we'll catch your reports this weekend, obviously on the big game, and you have a good one. Enjoy the salad days, right? Of Gators sports. Thank you. The great Franz Beard. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up and tell you about Titan MRI and Imaging. They are top notch. They have 3 locations to serve you. 2 of them in Gainesville. About to get one in Ocala, I hope. I'm waiting to find out. Located in Gainesville, the Lennon Center, and one in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta. Titan MRI and Imaging offers the same great customer service. They accept insurance. You can go through their convenient self-pay program. They offer MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, ultrasounds, easy scheduling with lots of options, including, I love this, they can make an appointment for you at night if you work and you can't come there. So, and also the larger MRI machines for your patient comfort. If you're at an MRI and you get that tube, you think, well, I don't know. Well, they understand that too. So check them out. Titan MRI Imaging is your choice. Thanks to Franz Beard tonight. Thanks for being. Sorry we didn't get Paul on, but we'll try to get him next time. So have a good night, folks.